Hello, my name is Nicholas Vandermoort. The discount liquor store you see behind me is where I currently work. 35 hours a week for $8.50 an hour. But that's not important. What is important is that I'm furthering my education here. So in the future, I won't have to work here. For the past couple of weeks, me and my fellow classmates, Dave and Brennan, have been going all around New Jersey trying to find people who have that future and have gotten it through the college experience. Through this, we hope to find inspiration, education, and hopefully better jobs. This is the road trip.
Recording. We met up with Chris Wolverton, our first interview at his office in Main Street.
You need a gravity
to sync up the audio.
All right.
Yeah, I hope you don't mind. I mean, this is going to be shown in like a
Just a classroom.
class.
It's not
That's
going to
fine.
be.
I won't embarrass myself too much. Well, if you're asking about college, I might, but
Just explain briefly like what you do now.
Now I'm an architect. So I, myself and another partner run this company. We have a staff between 7 and 10 people, give or take. It's a full service architecture firm, which means we service our clients from initial looking at a building or looking at a blank lot to designing the building, bidding it, overseeing the construction, closing it out, and moving the client in. I'm also an adjunct professor at community college.
Oh, really?
For about 4 years.
What college did you go to?
I went to RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute up in Troy, New York. It's mostly an engineering school. And they have a division of architecture, and they also have one for marketing too. But it's like a 4,000 student school, and then that's undergrad, and then they have a graduate program.
Like, what degrees, like, do you have? Like, what'd you walk away with from there?
I have a Bachelor of Architecture, which is a 5-year degree. And that's it. With architecture, architecture is 5 years of school. Then you need to work for 3 years. And then you're eligible for 7 exams. You pass those 7 exams, and then you're a licensed architect. So I've gone through all that. I passed my last exam last August.
The next question will be, what made you choose your career?
I think when I was young, I always liked playing with Legos and building stuff. And then everyone said, well, architects make a lot of money. You should do that.
Kind of a hard question, but what would you say is the toughest challenge you faced, like toughest thing you had to do?
Like, what almost pushed you over the edge in college, you know what I mean?
Well, I think the problem with architecture, it's not a problem, it is architecture, is I went to school with a whole lot of engineers. It was cut and dry. They got an exam, they got an A on it, they passed. It was calculations that always got you an answer. You either got the answer or didn't get the answer. Architecture, you spend half your semester, or even a thesis, I spent 2 semesters developing a thesis, creating material for presentation, doing that presentation, and then they invite people in from New York City, other locations. I've never seen that project before, and it's up to them to see whether you passed or not. So it's your final presentation. That's the most nerve-wracking part, and then you don't know for about a month whether you passed your thesis or not. So where your friends say, oh yeah, I passed my exam, I'm done, I'm good, you're sitting there like, I just don't know. And out of, I think, 120 people that started in my class, 75 made the thesis, 20 graduated on time. Luckily, I was one of them.
So our last question: what advice would you give to students like us who are just starting out? We're all freshmen here.
okay.
What,
Where are you guys going afterwards?
undecided.
Yeah.
Undecided.
Find out what you want to do.
I'd say the biggest thing that you want to do in college is get involved. I mean, if it's not just the degree you're getting, it's the friends you're making, it's the connections that you're making. I was in a fraternity. I chose to do that. I had no idea I was going to do a fraternity in college. But now I had 14 guys in my class that they're best friends. They were in my wedding. They were my best men. I have the classes above me and below me. I have people that are 50 years older than me that come back for alumni week, and I could pick their brains. They might have been running an architecture firm for 50 years. And I go back and say, well, what did you do wrong? How did you mess up? what's your positive, what's your negatives, and I have that basis to go back.
Yeah. That it? I think we're all good here.
Okay. That was easy.
For our second interview, we met up with Sarah Wiskowski, an associate at the Sussex Bank office in Rockland.
This thing is ridiculous.
So I am Sarah Wiskowski, and I'm the marketing director for Sussex Bank. Banks are institutions to house money, get loans, help with your financial aspects, tips, education. But my job is to make it fun, to make it interactive, to get people like yourselves talking about, hey, if we have mobile phones or texting, you know, how do we incorporate it so we keep our customer base with the generations that are growing. So I started at Morris County Community College. I lived in Sussex County. I didn't really know anything about Sussex Community College. Now that, you know, we're in the county, I'm learning, we do a lot with the foundation. There was something about being that local. We went to high school, going to the college, seeing the same people. I thought, let me try Morris County, not that it's that far away.
So what type of degrees do you have right now?
So I have a degree, my bachelor's is business management, and my MBA is, I guess it's a generic, just management business. So it gives you a little bit of statistics, HR, marketing, all of that was incorporated in the MBA.
All right.
I think you grow up feeling like, you know, your parents want you to go to college, the schools, your high school says, hey, you need to go to college. So it's something where you want to make them proud. And then you get to college and you realize it's like this personal journey and you internalize it. So for me, getting there was a journey. I was the only one in my family that went to college and graduated. But I think the life lesson was not even the schoolwork or the curriculum or the time. It was dealing with, the first year I went to William Patterson, I was signed up for a course. But halfway through I realized I had already taken the course at Morris County Community College. And I wanted to drop it. And they were giving me a hard time saying, hey, well, you passed the time frame. You're going to get a W with the withdrawal or something on your transcript, which was like taboo, you can't have that. And they weren't going to give me my money back. So it was more about, again, not the school, not the schoolwork, but life lessons. How to deal with people, how to deal with confrontation, and how to just make it work.
Okay. So how well has your college experience influenced in your job? Like everything you learned in college, did it really help you now?
I think when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, economics and equations, no, that hasn't helped me further my career. But again, the experience of having to work in teams, the experience of, finals and prepping for that and prioritizing, I think dealing with teachers, just dealing with relationships, I think helps you in life.
After a brief tour of her office, it was off to our next interview. It was right at the Dragon's Lair, right on Mill Street in Newton, where we met up with the owners to talk about their business.
Why don't you guys just give me a clap so we can sync up on it? It's good. All right.
So yeah, this is the Dragon's Lair. We're a card comic and game store, primarily dealing with trading cards like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon.
I'm Gable Moore. I'm from Stillwater, and I live in Freedom now, so pretty much been a local, moved away for a few years, moved back.
My name is Tom Pamplone. I'm 22, and I live in Freedom, just in the same area, pretty much.
And you own the Dragon's Lair.
And we are the owners of the Dragon's Lair. Yep.
So how did you get into this field of work?
Well, both of us had hobbies. Well, the things we have in the store as hobbies. Namely, I was into role-playing games, comic books. Tom was more of like a Magic player. He kind of started working on the store, and I kind of jumped in and, put kind of the things that I was interested in into it to add to it.
Yeah, we started back in December, I guess, as like a brainchild kind of concept. And I was working on it independently for a while, and we actually met on Facebook.
Yeah.
Although we live locally, so we weren't perfect strangers, but yeah, we met and we discussed a lot of ideas. We kind of had two different sides of the spectrum in terms of games versus cards and all that stuff. And we started formulating plans around March and got this thing rolling in about 2 months, I'd say, once we got the place.
Yeah, just took a lot of paperwork and
What made you want to choose this place?
Um,
I know this used to be like an old like cooking class.
Yeah.
I think it was,
Yeah. I mean, we looked at a couple places on Spring Street, and those are pretty bad,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word. And we got here. I mean, we were kind of at a crunch where it's like we couldn't wait any longer to do what we needed to do because we had like financially set up everything. We were moving in like to getting things set up, but we needed the space. And he called me up one day and he's like, our realtor was really good. He found us this place and it was like, you know, basically sectioned in a way that we can have events and then like a whole just product area to really separate people and kind of give them this like atmosphere that they're, you know, whatever they're doing, they're in here and they're like in their zone and it's very secluded kind of,
Yeah.
despite the, you know, experiment display window thing going on over there.
Yeah.
So tell me, how does it feel like to own your first business?
Scary.
Well,
Scary?
Yeah.
Okay.
It can definitely be scary, but it's also really like it's exciting, and I get a really good sense of accomplishment out of it, even if it's not like our best week or anything, you know.
Yeah, this isn't actually my first business.
Oh,
This is my first brick and mortar business, which is actually very scary because there's a lot more on the line. But yeah, it's really at the end of the day, it's what you get out of it. Like you're saying, if you have a bad week, that's whatever. And the way everything's going now with internet and stuff, I mean, we're not oblivious to it. We see it every day. So we're hoping to kind of transition with that. But we know like this kind of market is very niche, and we're hoping to just to fill it just enough so that way people can enjoy it and keep us alive.
Yeah.
What do you guys see for the future? Do
We'll
you
probably
see this place getting bigger?
We'll probably
I
conquer
hope
the
so.
world easily. I mean, we would like to.
I'm gonna. There's people.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
You want to wait for him, or you want me to?
To you guys.
Well, yeah. I mean, we want to expand a lot. The problem is, people think of like retail and they say, okay, well, if you have a successful business, you should franchise it or break off. But this is a very hard market to do that in. I mean, I don't think you've ever.
Why
been,
is that?
I mean, if you've ever been to any other comic stores or game stores before, you notice that's the only one there is. It's very hard to separate those two things and just say, you know what, we're doing so well that we'll move to like North Carolina or somewhere else. Or it's very hard. So really the best we can do in terms of projections is just to keep this place running, keep it going. Like we're always adding new things, really just have the current things. And our events are what really like keeps us going too. Like we have a lot of events, video game events, card game events and stuff. And that's what we like to do. We do a lot of bigger events like professional tournament qualifiers and stuff like that. So we're really just trying to give the community what they need as opposed to like, which I guess kind of comes with us expanding the business.
Mm-hmm. All right, I think that's it, guys. We're all good.
Cool.
Great.
We learned a lot about business, but we learned a lot more about the foundation and education and how it can support you later on in your careers. Hopefully someday when we too are being interviewed at our careers, we'll look back and reflect on how college made us the people we were that day.